Hello everyone and welcome. We are here, we are live, and we're picking up right where we left off at the end of last week with Bill and Bob just getting back into the Kerbal 1 here after doing their surface science stuff. And what we're going to be doing is getting them back up to, or back up into orbit, but then of course back to Kerb, and hopefully all of that will be going well. Also, I have an alarm clock open here just to sort of point out some other things that are in the works. We have 50 seconds for Munar 4. This is an alarm for me to go to Munar 4 and try and get it. It's very close. It's a uncrewed lander that's in the Munar lowlands, but very close to the Midland craters. I want to try and see if I can move it over to another biome so it can collect more science. We also have MunRelay 5, which is on its needing to make a correction burn on its way into a relay insertion about the moon. And finally, we also have Munar 3, which is about 3.5 days from its moon encounter. Lots of happenings around the moon, but I don't want to make this all about the moon. In fact, why don't I wait for this extra few seconds here, because this is before this alarm comes up. Here we go. And actually, let's keep the alarm open because that'll remind me to go back to Munar 4. If I take a look at my messages here, we have world first milestones. We have walked on the surface of the moon, and we have planted a flag on the moon, and that planting of the flag opened up a whole mitt full of strategies from the Strategia mod, because I was working on my Mun Program strategy, and now my Mun Program strategy is done. So what I need to do is pick up another strategy which is going to shape how the next several streams are going to go. And I'm thinking about expanding, stop making everything about the moon, and getting out past the moon, past Minmus, and into some interplanetary stuff. And this will all be using probes, of course, because I don't have with Kerbalism, I don't have anything in life support to do an interplanetary adventure. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But let's delete all of this stuff. Get rid of those messages, get rid of alarm clock for now, and let's get ourselves up there. So we need to get into orbit. So we're going to retract the ladder. There we go. And also, I was just thinking, right now we're working on this Terrier engine, and according to this, we still have 38 minutes of ignition, or 38 ignitions still left in it. But with Kerbalism, any ignition can be a failure. So I do have backup engines here, these little ant engines, but I'm just thinking in the staging I should really put them here, because if this failed during ascent, I want to be able to immediately switch on to the ant engine. So there we go. Okay, so here we are. We're going to be doing our ascent here. I want to go to the east, so I gotta think about where that is on the Navball. But basically, yeah, I just gotta throttle up and go, so let's do this. Okay, we have ignition. That's always good. We're going to pitch over to the east. Oh, it's that way, is it? Here we are. We're going to bring up our landing gear and basically put that down here. Just going to pitch over. You can pitch over as quickly as you can when on an airless world. And as long as you don't crash into any of the terrain, you're good. And I'm just watching my apoapsis here. I want to get up to about 12 kilometers. And we're going to cut our engine here. That's looking pretty good. Okay, so we got 8 kilometers here for our apoapsis. 11 and 12. There we go. Okay. And actually, I can. I'm doing so much with KOS, I can do things like, for instance, I want to circularize at apoapsis. I should be able to just type circ at, how about the run keyword? Run circ at apo. And it should create that burn there for me. Do that all for me. That's always nice. And in fact, we can even execute that burn. There we go, getting all ready. Because, you know, we do not have a pilot aboard, so we need to automate as much of this as possible. Still just under 400 or 500 meters per second left in the vehicle, so we should have no trouble getting these folks home. Of course, always knocking on wood with statements like that one. Time warp our way a little closer. And then once these guys are on their way back home, we'll check out Munar 4 and see if we can not shuffle it over to another biome. 20 seconds to the burn. All right. And checking, these folks have also been sending back lots and lots of science. There we go. So we'll be having some science to spend when we get back as well. And there we go. 12.4 by 12.5. Can't complain about that. Close that. Close that. Now, before... There we go. Before we get ourselves back, start sending our way back, I do have, let's see, according to Kerbal, or Kerbalism, I have 5 EVAs left. I was struggling a bit, not struggling a bit, I was struggling a lot with EVAs and losing lots and lots of nitrogen. Kerbalism uses nitrogen to repressurize the capsule. And if we get to a point where we can't repressurize the capsule anymore, then these two are forced to simply live inside their spacesuits, and we don't want to do that. But one thing that was suggested in the comments was what I should be doing, and it makes perfect sense to do this, is to turn off the pressure control. So while you're doing EVAs, turn off the pressure control so that every time you open up the hatch, because you open up the hatch to go out, you open up the hatch to go back in. When I was on the surface, Bill did that, then Bob did that. So that's 4 times the hatch was opened and closed, and between each of those times it's repressurizing. That might explain why I was losing so much nitrogen. So we're going to turn the pressure control off. And Bob is going to do an EVA because I want to collect some EVA science here. I do have a contract. I'm pretty sure. If I look at my all contracts here. Yes, science data from space around the moon. Oops. I noticed one in red there. I didn't like the look of that, but we'll get to that in a second. Transfer and recover some scientific data from the surface. So let's give that a go. So we're going to EVA Bob. Oh, I just noticed Bob does not have an EVA pack. Ooh, there's something to be careful about. It's a good thing he's still hanging on. Where is that EVA pack? There it is. Gotta be careful about this kind of stuff. Bob is there. There he goes. Okay, now he has his pack. Whew. Be careful there, Bob. Okay, we're gonna turn that on. Turn that on, and we're going to do... Oh, shoot. I just realized something else. He also needs the EVA science experiment kitty thing. There it is. To do this. So, there we go. Okay. Get around. Let's face the sun. Oh, the sun's quickly setting. Let's do this. So, where is it here? Perform EVA science. I love this little animation. It's great. Zoom. Nice job, Bob. And there we go. 20 science from that. So we'll get Bob back inside. And we'll see how many EVAs we got left. So aboard. And according to this, we now have the sensible 4 EVAs left. So I think that might be the secret here. I did 1 EVA and we went down 1 EVA. That seems sensible. So turning off the pressure control seems to... I'm going to leave it off because I want to do another one of those in high space about the moon. And this data should be collected and being transmitted. It is. So once that's transmitted, that should be this experiment or this contract done. Okay, whoa, we got lots of stuff open here. Let's get our way back to Kerbin. Let's head home. Oops. Just noticing, I think I still have that lander set as a target. Unset target. There we go. Okay, that's a little too much on the Delta V department. Whoop. Let's bring the scale down. Okay, why am I having so much issues with this draggy thing? Should be about 280-ish or so. There we go. Contract complete. 20 science in the research and development. Okay, I want to get this down to about, I would say about 35 kilometers. That should be good. All right, and that burn is coming up in about another 21 seconds, so let's get on over there. Is it bad to leave the pressure control off, says Philippe? I don't think so. It means that they're just wearing their spacesuits. I think they can wear... What it does is it increases the stress of the Kerbals. But stress is something that builds up slowly over time. Why did that time warp stop? Did I... Maybe I just... Hang on a second. I'm confusing myself. Okay, let's warp to that again. Maybe I just did that. Stress builds up slowly over time, so, you know, as long as you don't leave it off for too terribly long. And I'm going to just let him do one more EVA in high space, and then we're going to put it back on again. So let's see. Run X-Man, right? Yep. There we go. Sometimes talking and doing stuff at the same time messes me up. While this is happening, let's go back to here. I just noticed this in red. Oh, okay, this is a different... Okay, never mind. It's not important. It's not a failed contract. It's just there's another contract involving Jebediah. Nothing to do with this. Look the other way. How come I don't have the blue atmosphere? Yeah, there's something in the Eve settings. I left them on the default. Here, just wait. This is about to go. So I don't have the whole scatterer effects. I think it's this. I'm not sure if I have scatterer installed. So I don't have all the scatterer effects around Kerbin there. So you don't see that kind of blue haze of the atmosphere. But that is a processor intensive thing. And I think for the live streams, I kind of want to maximize having the game run well opposed to looking completely gorgeous. So that's a conscious decision that I made. Okay, where are we at for our 35? Beautiful. Well done. I was going to say well done, Bill, but it wasn't Bill, was it? It was our mission control running their script on them. Okay, so what we're going to do is get ourselves into high orbit here. And then we're going to do one more EVA. And I think it's around 60. I know once I'm around 60, I think I'm in high space. We'll go to 100. No sense. No sense. Or here, 80. We're definitely in high space now. Okay, we're going to do another one of these. So again, pressure control is turned off. We got 4 EVAs, so we'll get Bob out. So you can control EVAs. Again, do that. RCS on. Bob's going to pull out his wing nut of fun. Oh, what's really fun, you know what? I got one more of these to do in high space over Kerbin. What's really fun is to do that with the RCS turned off. Maybe I'll do that for the last one. Conservation of angular momentum can be your enemy as well as your friend. Okay, so we've got 3 EVAs left. So what we're going to do... I don't know, how far are we from leaving... I'm just thinking. No, you know what? They should be fine. Their stress is still at 0%. Let's get out of the moon's SOI. Goodbye, moon. Let's do the one last EVA and then we'll repressurize everything. I'm worried that if I repressurize everything, that I'm going to lose the last of my nitrogen and I won't be able to do... Oh, Munar 5's at a maneuver node. Yeah, we got to do that right now. Sorry, let's jump the ship. Jump the ship. Too much stuff, too much stuff. Turning pressure control off conserves nitrogen. Yes, that seems to be the thing to do. Okay, let's see. So this is... Oh, you're not in the best of orientations for those solar panels. Thankfully, you're still okay. So we are coming up to... Let's have this so we can go back. A burn, just to remind people, this is MunRelay 5. MunRelay 5 needs to make a correction to get to the moon. And if I put on my relays and we focus on here... It needs to make a correction to get ourselves to the moon. And our goal here, right now, this is our trajectory. This is what we're fixing. Our goal here is to end up in an identical orbit to this one, this polar orbit, and 120 degrees out of phase with the one that's already there, MunRelay 4. I got 567 meters per second left of delta V, and we're about to do a 79 meter per second burn. I would love to say that I am 100% convinced I've worked this all out exactly, but I'm not convinced of that actually at all. So I'm a little bit nervous on this one, but we'll run our script. This will get ready. Oh, I like that it's all a normal burn anyway. Let's get closer to it. I'm a little worried I didn't give enough fuel for this one. See how it goes. Let's cut that. About 20 seconds away from the burn. We'll watch it from here. Because what I need to do is come out here. I need to do a capture. And then I'm going to need to do a pretty good plane change to match the plane of this. And I'm a little bit... I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous about it. All right. And all I'm doing is getting my periapsis roughly the same as the periapsis of my target orbit. I think we're done. Yep, burn's complete. Program's ended. Close that. 377.4. This is 377.6. That's close enough. And we'll set up... I think it's fine just the way it's oriented. We'll set up a maneuver for crossing into its sphere of influence, which is only 2 hours and 47 minutes away. And we'll jump back to the Kerbal. See if we can not do that last EVA. Here we are. Okay. So, close that. Saying goodbye to the moon. Okay, this should be our alarm. Apollo 1 SOI change. I think we're still probably a minute away. We are. Okay, so we are now space high above Kerbin. Let's do that last EVA. So Bob, one last time. And this time, here we'll back him, whoops, let go. We'll back him away from the capsule a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll turn off our RCS. So I find this entertaining. And then we'll do our EVA science. Again, what he's going to do is spin the wing nut. Yeah, and Bob didn't think this through. Okay, that's enough of that. Thankfully, he can fix himself. So don't ever do that experiment without having an RCS pack, is the moral of that story. Okay, in he goes. Okay, we got all our EVAs off. Now what we're going to do is... I did an EVA in near space before this all started. So now all I need to do is repressurize the capsule. So we're going to run the pressure control. The question is, do I have the nitrogen required to pressurize the capsule? Because when you open the hatch, you depressurize the whole capsule. So that is the question. Where's my nitrogen? There's my nitrogen. So it's... Oh, I think we're done. I think we're good. I don't see the nitrogen going down at all. So I think we're all... Does it say pressurized? Da-da-da-da. Yeah, I think so. Pressure says 101.0 kilopascals. We still have 2. Okay. So there we go. Lesson learned. When you're in Kerbalism, you're doing EVAs, turn that pressure control off before you do all your EVAs, and everything will be fine. Now, one thing I want to do before I get any further is shuffle some gear around. So, what we'll do here, we got these 2 containers as well. I want to make sure they have parachutes for their re-entry in case, you know, the worst comes to pass. So we'll put our EVA kit over here, put a parachute here. We'll give Bill an EVA kit, or not the EVA kit, the RCS pack, and then we'll give him a parachute. Now they're all set for re-entry. And speaking of re-entry, opening up alarm clock, we're going to be at periapsis in 5 hours and 14 minutes. Let's give ourselves 15 minutes warning before that. That'll be well before we enter the atmosphere. Okay, these folks are on their way home, right? Yep, periapsis 33 kilometers. That should be good. Okay, let's get to Munar 4. Put this off long enough. And I really want to finish off all of these little missions here before moving on. Definitely. Oh, a little bounce. So what happened here? Let's open up ScanSat. Let's put this on info. Open up ScanSat, and I can show you what the dealio is here. So here we are. We'll put it on the biome map of the Boon. We'll click here. We should get a little map. There it is. Okay, we don't need the big map now. So what I ended up doing, let's see if we can really zoom in on this. Oh, that's not zooming in. That was moving. There we go. Zoom in. Starting to pixelate, so I definitely... So this is the Munar lowlands, but right this, which is downhill from here, down that way, is the middling craters. And we ended up a little bit off, so I'm thinking, if I can just kind of shuffle this downhill, we got a whole new biome to collect science in. Now, of course, I'll got to do that without damaging equipment. Specifically, if I break off this antenna, we won't be able to transmit anything, and that will end this whole party. I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, this thing has completed its mission, so it's a bonus. And yeah, you can tell, of course, I did fall over because I landed on the slope. I should have landed down in here. That's should have been my intent. So when I landed with the landing gear extended, this thing, yeah, see, it's sliding down the hill anyway. Now, should I risk... Oh, no, now it's not. So what I'm thinking, if I turn this thrust like way down, How many ignitions are left here? This could go so wrong in so many different ways. How many ignitions are left on that engine? 6 ignitions, not a lot. But if I give the teeniest amount of thrust... Okay, a little more thrust. I'm really surprised we're not moving. It's downhill and everything. Come on, really? There it goes. Okay. Just had to overcome friction. And I don't want to accelerate down the hill. But all I got to do is get down far enough to get into these midland craters. Going at 2.5 meters. Oh, now it's 2.6 meters per second. I want to keep this really low. I'd rather not start and stop this engine, so that's why I'm keeping it going. But if I start getting too fast, I'm going to have to turn this off. It's a little toboggan ride. I mean, I suppose I could actually try and take off, but I think this is a lower risk thing what I'm doing right now. Oh, why are we going sideways? That I'm not so sure about. A little more thrust. We seem to be slowing down. We have stopped. Why did we stop? Oh, this is starting to look less and less promising. Oh, we got put lights on. Lights. There we are. Okay, we're starting to move again. I mean, science is science. We can get more science. It's already collected 64 science and transmitted it back. If I can squeeze another 64 out of it, I'd be pretty happy. Everywhere I see boom, I see Drew writing boom in capital letters, and we can absolutely... There could be a boom at any moment. There's no question about it. And if it booms, it booms. I see one of those formations that you can collect samples from. Unfortunately, this thing is not capable of that. Okay, I'm starting to go pretty fast. That was like 4. Wow. I guess the slope has come... It's a little closer to being flat. Yeah, it's definitely flattening out. That's why I need to put more thrust on. I want to try and keep my speed constant. It's around 3.2 meters per second now. I want to try and keep that relatively constant. I don't want it to get too high. Oh, we got to be getting close. Yep, the antenna's right here. Got to protect the antenna. So the antenna is up. When it fell over, it fell with the antenna up, so that is good. Zoom in a little more. I can see the boundary. I don't know how hard and fast this boundary is. You know, with 478, if this thing were upright, I probably could have done a little hop. If this thing were upright to begin with. But I worry that actually trying to go upright right now would actually invite more disaster than... Let's see. So what do people say? Am I gonna make it? I'm almost 4 meters per second. Let's slow down a little bit. I am most certainly pressing my luck. Okay, I can see it looks like I'm about to come over a little bit of a lip. So hopefully this will get a little easier. Oh, but then I got an uphill part. That could be the end of this. Okay, we're starting to accelerate again. Oh, we are so close. If I cross this boundary before this little hill, I think I'm okay. But if that little hill is still in the lowlands, then I think I'm in trouble. Try and go a little more this way. This is stupid. Oh, starting to go pretty fast. We're almost at 5 meters per second. Oh, we're so close! I know, I think it's longer than I think. Klaus is saying in the chat that based on the movement here, he thinks it's further away than I think it is, and I think he's very likely right. But it's worth a try. I mean, this is free science. Like I said, this thing has already performed its mission. As far as I'm concerned. Put on data here. It was never intended to do more than one biome, so we're extending its mission. Oh my gosh, it is so close. I think I might have been better off trying to stand it up, but I'm kind of committed to this path right now. I'm seeing more of these sort of moonstone formations. Slow down. As soon as what I'm looking at now is right here. As soon as this thing is collecting data, we are in the Midland craters. I know, I see the ski ramp coming up. Ski ramps aren't good. I'm hoping we'll be there before that ski ramp. Because pushing this thing uphill might be much more of a challenge. Yeah, we don't need no rovers. We don't need no rovers. A little more. Right on the line. These are leveling off a little bit. Lots of fuel. So fuel isn't the problem. Ha ha! Ha ha! I don't think I'm going to worry about trying to stand this up. I don't think I'm going to worry about anything. So it's collecting all kinds of more science and it's transmitting that away, and hopefully the solar will hold up for it. Again, I'm going to turn the lights off to conserve what little electricity it has. The seismic scan in particular takes like 14 days to do, so it will be collecting for a while, but to be quite honest, I am perfectly happy. We're leaving this alone. That was very much a success. Okay, we can delete this alarm. There's no reason to ever come back here. All right, let's check in on Munar 5, our relay. I love squeezing more life out of something than what was originally intended. Okay, we are on our way to the moon. Let's do it. More science being transmitted from the Midland craters. Look at all that. I am not a lucky boy. That was purely... Well, yeah, I am. That could easily have gone so wrong. Okay, so here we are. And this is where I'm starting to get a little worried. So we are now in the moon's SOI. And what we need to do is make this monstrous, well, fairly hefty inclination change. And the first thing we got to worry about is a capture. Whoops. And I want to get the minimal capture I can. Because Boink. There we go. That's about it. Because the further out this is, the further out you need to make the plane change, and the cheaper this is going to be. Now our target orbit is this relay here, so let's set that as a target. And we are 38.3 degrees. You know what? This relay will still function even if it's not in this plane. It'll function just fine. So I don't have to put it in this plane, but I want to. That's just, I really want to. So let's see if we can do it. So what we're going to do, let's see, we're coming in this way. So we'll make the capture. And then here we need to make this plane change right at this equatorial ascending node. And the question is, can we do it? So we're going to go to maneuver number 2. Yeah, this way. We want to keep this periapsis more or less where it is, so we also have to put in a little retrograde. Sorry, I'm losing track of this. 377 point something something, yeah. Too many numbers. Oh, I can look at it here too. Nope, this way. Okay, bring the scale down. Oh, it's not nearly as bad a burn as I thought it was going to be. It's only in the 30 meter per second range. I'm really close as it is. Okay, my scale's way too low. Okay, this is in the right ballpark, and it's only about 30 meters per second. We're close to getting the plane the way we want, and then we just need to complete the cat. We're fine. So this burn is about 30 meters per second. Our maneuver 1 here. Oh, sorry, that's I'm mistaken. Sorry, 30 meters per second is the burn that's coming up. My mistake. My mistake. Shoot. Maneuver number 2. Oh, did I lose it already? Shoot. I did. Oh, no, there it is down here. Maneuver. Don't be like this. Maneuver number 2. There we go. No, maneuver number 2 is 112 plus... Shoot. Oh, the game's being a pain. Come on. There we go. Maneuver number 2 is in around 120. No, I think we can do it. We got 488. No, I think we're good. Okay, let's delete this. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. Stop being so picky. So, is that maneuver looking like it's right on periapsis? I think so. Let's just adjust the timing just a little bit. That looks good. Okay. One thing at a time. So we've got about 30 meter per second burn coming up, and then it's going to be in around the 130, 140 range to do the plane change. But we still got 488 meters per second. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. So let's do this. So we'll get our Kerbal KOS thing open, and let's get out there. I do have to also pay some attention to my Kerbal 1, which is hurtling. Oh, they are really... Okay, we're going to do this burn and then... Oh, maybe we're not. No, I got to pay attention. Oh my gosh. Oh, this timing is atrocious. Okay. Kerbal 1 is just about to enter into the atmosphere, and we're still 9 minutes from our burn. This is about as bad timing as I can get. Okay, let's set an alarm right here. Oops. This is not coming out well. Okay, let's give ourselves a bit of warning here. Let's jump to the Kerbal 1, see if it's in any jeopardy. This is the problem when you start doing multiple things at the same time, because these guys, as they go into the atmosphere, I cannot ignore them. Now, I can, if I open up Kerbal Engineer, because I have Kerbal Engineer data up here, and I edit this second HUD right here, I do have time to the atmosphere. It is one of these parameters here, this time. I think it might have, let's see, we'll keep looking down at, I don't know if it's under orbital or if it would be under surface. It probably is under surface. There's so much, oh, time to atmosphere right there. So we'll put that in. In fact, why don't we go to miscellaneous and put in a separator and take that separator and move it up 1. I like to put in these, so we are 12 minutes from the atmosphere, and we are 6.5 minutes from that maneuver. So according to Kerbal Engineer, we should be okay to do this burn and then jump back to here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh wait, let's get rid of Kerbal Engineer here. Show, take that away. There we go. We should be okay. KOS again. I'm a little nervous. Okay, let's do it. Let's just get this done with. We have to get this capture or else this thing is off, you know, out of the moon's SOI, and goodness knows when or if it'll come back. Yep. So let's do this. Run the X-Men script, and then we're going to really quickly jump back. Just a 7-second burn, very little. Tiny little burn just to get her capture here. Barely get her capture. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and... You're very welcome, Johnny. Johnny says, thank you very much. You've helped me learn a complicated game. It is a very complicated game. I think people, because of the cutesy nature, don't at first realize just how complicated the game is. But I mean, it does the physics for real. What else can you say? Or very close to being for real, anyway. Alright, I don't have time to dilly-dally. We got our capture, right? Yes, we do. So let's get to Kerbal 1, and then we'll come back to here. Because we have more important things to worry about. Now that that thing's got its capture, we can... yeah, they're not in the atmosphere yet. We're all good. We're all good. We have 3 minutes and 30 seconds to spare. We didn't forget about you guys. Don't worry. Okay, so... Let me think. I don't think there's one surface sample they collected. It is in the command pod. So I don't think there's anything in this, because we're going to lose this service module, obviously, but I don't think there's anything in there we need to worry about. Where is... Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. We'll land where we land. Everything's going to be fine. Okay, let's get down there. Let's do it. One of these days I'll really get into trying to see if I can get better at predicting, trying to land close to a predicted target when coming back from the moon or Mimbus. Alright, we'll get down close to the atmosphere here. There we go. We are going to lose our service module. And that should have armed our parachutes. It did. We have no more SAS. Because we lost our probe body, which was really what was flying the ship, and we're left with just Bill and Bob. But all Bill and Bob have to do now is hang on. Everything should take care of itself. Jettison this heat shield when we get close to the surface. It is only rocket science. You are absolutely right, Dan. It's not like it's brain surgery, for goodness sakes. Alright. Let's time warp even more. This should be... At least we don't have the roundy capsule that has a tendency to want to roll around. Are we over deserts? It really looks like we're over deserts. Might have a crew report to do over the desert. Okay, here we go. Got our signal back. Crew report. Oh no, we've got our crew report, so that's all done. Yeah. That's always a good sign. Coming down through the clouds. Always put a probe body on top of the capsule. That's true, but you know, this part actually is okay. Let's put this on surface so we can see. Okay, we can jettison our heat shield. Don't really have to do that, but I like doing it because it makes a boom. Oh, we still have the ladder. That's obviously not necessary now. All right. Excellent. Our first Kerbals to walk the surface of the moon are about to return. Heroes for everybody. Okay. And touching. We doing a crew report? We're doing a crew report. We are doing a crew report in the desert. We have never touched down in the desert, so Bob? Actually, hang on a sec. Oh no! I should have thought about that. I threw away my EVA kit. Oh wait, I think that's actually just surface in general, isn't it? I think it is. I don't think it's biome specific. Oh wait, or does he? What's that on his back? He doesn't have it. I don't know. Whatever. Let's do it. Surface sample and an EVA report. I think this is actually not really here. I think this should be a parachute. I think it just looks funny. Okay, let's time warp that away. Thank you, Donicus, for the generous donation. It says your majesty, I can't say the word. That's how unfamiliar I am with it. But your mastery is apparent today, is what he says. Okay, boarding. And we are still collecting a crew report. Got a couple minutes of that. We'll time warp that away and recover and see what the situation is. So, recovering vessel. We are recovering said vessel. And remember, we've already transmitted a huge amount of science. These guys are carrying with them 94 science as it is. We are now at 395.4 science, so that is most certainly some nodes for us to unlock. But before we get to that, I really do have to deal with this relay. Let's see if we can get... I didn't even bother to set up the maneuver for it. I was so anxious to come back here. So let's get back out to our relay. Yeah, where is the band? Just drop them down in the middle of the desert? No fanfare? Just have to wait. Okay, here we are. So, we need to set up a maneuver down here at the ascending, our relative ascending node with our target, which is this fella right here. And what we need to do is bring that relative inclination down to 0. That's doing the trick. And I also want at the same time to keep my periapsis more or less the same. So I do also want to give a little bit of retrograde. You always find whenever you do big plane changes that it's going to take always some retrograde to along with normal. Because every time you go normal, you're pushing your periapsis and apoapsis up, and then you need to bring it back down again. Actually, I think I'm pulling both of those. Let's do it from here. So pulling that one this way. Whoa, dear, oh dear. Okay, we'll do it this way. And retrograde. It's a little too much, I think. Getting into some fine tuning now. Okay, that's 0 degrees relative inclination. Periapsis is too low. Okay. Too low again. This is always the fiddly bit. Looking at this to be about 375.3 or 3.4 in that ballpark. Oh, there we go. That's good. So periapsis 377.4. Relative inclination of 0. That's what we're shooting for. And it is a 123 meter per second burn, so we should be good with that. Let's get out there and do it. Again, let's keep that KOS window open. Right there. Run that script. Yeah, when you push your normal, you're also always pushing your prograde. Is exactly right what Benjamin points out. So you always end up with, you can see where the maneuver node is, that it's actually between the normal vector and the retrograde vector, and how much it is between is a function of how much is this way and how much is this way. In fact, if you even think about it, if you're going to do a 180 degree plane change, flip the orbit right around backwards, what do you got to do? You got to burn pure retrograde. So that's the most extreme situation, and any inclination change between 0 and 180 will have a maneuver node somewhere between these two. All right, coming up to 3, 2, 1, go. There's the moon way up there. What's this? Oh, that's full thrust. And this relay is really somewhat superfluous. But if you really want to have communication on all points on the surface of the moon, you do have to get some relays in a plane other than the one equatorial plane. So here we are. Let's actually orient this a little bit for the solar panels. That will be fine. Right there. Okay, and all right, so now we're in the right plane as our target orbit, which is what my goal was. Now comes what I want to do. Here's our target. I am going to set up a burn right here at periapsis. And this burn is going to be a capture burn. Well, actually, not quite yet. So, how can we'll show this. What I want to do is not end up rendezvousing. I set this thing as a target, but like, here, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm talking a lot, but I don't think I'm making sense. If I go retrograde, 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 right about there, what I would end up doing if I made center on the moon. Ah, shoot, now I lost this target. This is a target. There. Now we got these two maneuver nodes right, or close encounter indicators right together. If I made this burn, I would go into this orbit and rendezvous with this relay on the next orbit. But I don't want to rendezvous with the relay. What I want to do is meet that relay, or be 120 degrees out from that relay. So all I have to do to get what I want, oh my gosh, select that maneuver if I can. There we go. And if I put this on, yeah, it's not going to show it to me just yet, but if I push a little bit of prograde, there we go. And what I want is the angle between here and here to be 120. And for now, I'm just going to eyeball it, and we will dial this in much more precisely. Let me think about this now for a second. It's so hard to judge this. This is 180. If I divide 180 into 3, 2 of those thirds, I think I'm going a little too far. If I take this half circle, divide it into thirds, actually, I think I need to be a little more this way. That is about a third of a half a circle, I would say. So I'm going to guesstimate this to be about 120. It doesn't have to be precise. It's all a function of how particular you are. So this burn will put me into this dotted orbit. And by the time I come back to here again after doing this dotted orbit, I will be here and my target will be here. And that will be 120 degrees from each other, and then I will do the circularization, and that will put me into the orbit, so I'm 120 degrees away from this orbit, which is what I want. And at some point in the future, I'll put a third satellite in around here. So there'll be 3 satellites in much the same way as we have these 3 satellites here. That's what I'm shooting for, but in this polar plane. Anyway, that burn's not coming up for a day. Don't need that alarm. Let's add that alarm in a day. We'll give ourselves 5 minutes warning for that. And we do have Munar 3. I do want to get to that, but before we get to all of this stuff, I want to get back to the Space Center, and we're going to do some reconfigurizing of everything that's there. I put my protractor to the screen. I have done that. I have physically taken one of those little plastic clear school protractors and held it up to the screen. But we have mods to help us actually measure that as precisely as we can that I'll get to in just a little bit. Okay, what I want to do. First thing I want to do is I want to get into the administrative building. I want to take a look at my strategies. And the one I'm looking at next, you can see my Mun Program one is done. That one has been completed, and it is completed forever and ever. Is I'm thinking of going into probes, and I'm looking at this impactor probes strategy. And the requirements of the impactor impactor probe strategy, what they want you to do is to impact 3 different celestial bodies. Notice they say celestial bodies, so that does include moons. So I can do Minmus in the moon, and then I have to pick one planet, and I'm probably going to do Moho, because Moho comes up in it's the one you get transfer windows to the most often, because Moho zooms around the orbit of its sun, or our sun too, or Kerbin's sun. But it goes around in its orbit much more quickly than the other planets, so transfer windows come up more quickly. So that's what I'm thinking of, that is hitting Minmus, the moon, and then Moho in that order. And that gets us into some interplanetary stuff. And then I want to jump into planetary flybys, which asks me to do 3 planetary flybys of 3 different planets this time. Now it does say the word planets. And so planets will be probably Moho, Eve, and Duna will be the planets I'll end up hitting, and doing flybys of all of those. And that will be, I think, a couple of fun things to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the impactor strategy right now. Boom, there we go. So impactor probes strategy. Also, this is going to be a lot of probes. And so what I want to do is to get into these probe frenzy strategies, because they really reward you now for using probes and transmitting back science and all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, I'm capped off at having 3 different strategies. You can never have more than 3 strategies going. So I'm going to get rid of one of them. And the one I'm going to get rid of is this one, Local Science 3. I'm not convinced it's actually doing that much for me. It gives me 100% bonus on Kerbal Science, which isn't that really, I don't have a lot of Kerbal Science still coming in. I get minus 2% costs on research, which is nice, but it's not huge. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get that, or get rid of this one, and then pick up Probe Frenzy 3, but actually, why not take advantage of this minus 2% science cost right now, because I got science to spend. I had 396 science. Let's spend it. And I have already been eyeing some of these in advance. One of the ones I'm eyeing, I think it's this one, Advanced Electrics. It definitely is, because this has the DTS-M1 antenna. This is the antenna that opens up being able to communicate to the inner planets, Moho, Eve, and Duna. I don't have the antennas otherwise to be able to do that. So if I'm going to do these impactors and flybys, I definitely want that. So boom, that one is gotten. And I also want to start developing more in the plane and that kind of stuff area. So I'm looking here at aerodynamics. Under aerodynamics, we're getting bigger plane bodies. Some more science experiments we can do here. The Weasley jet engine. I think that would be a good, worthwhile purchase right there. What do we got left? 151? Oh, these are 157, so I can't go one more. But maybe in the near future, get that Panther jet engine, get some hypersonic flight happening. I am thinking I'm going to go here. I might regret this decision. But this one here, subsonic flight, has propeller and helicopter blades. I've always wanted, I played with this very, very small amount, not a lot. I've always wanted to get more into it. This is my excuse. I want to build a helicopter. I'm not going to do that live. I will do most of that build outside of the live stream, because there will undoubtedly be a lot of fumbling about. But I'll get that one too. So there we go. Lots of new science. Let's get back into here. Now Local Science 3 can go. Boom. There we go. And I'm going to pick up Probe Frenzy 3. So Probe Frenzy 3. Notice costs of crewed vessels are now going to be increased by 100%. So it's going to be twice the cost to launch crewed vessels. But because I'm going to think about more putting energy towards planes for while we're doing this. So because we recover the planes, we usually get all of that money back, so that's not a big deal. But we get 12% science from probe transmissions, 20% bonus on science from probe recovery, 50% funds for uncrewed milestones, 50% increase in funds, and plus 20% science for uncrewed milestones. So this really does, we're going to be going with a lot of uncrewed. Why can't I grab this? Oh, yes, I do want to grab this. It's just giving me a little menu there. There we go. All right, so it's going to be a Probapalooza. A probe frenzy for the next little while. Fun times, fun times, fun times. Okay. I'm also going to want to upgrade. You know what? I'm also do this right now. I also going to want to upgrade the tracking station, because I want a level 3 tracking station to track my probes into those interplanets. So I'm going to do that too. Boom. That's done. Still have 642,000 Kerb bucks. Doing well. Okay. Let's finish off these leftover missions that are just hanging over my head. I want these done. I want them out of here before we move on to the next phase of all this. So, jump in the ship back with the Munar 5. We're going to finish this. Brian Dillard asks, what are your must-have mods for Kerbalism? I'm not sure if they're specifically for Kerbalism, because I definitely like things like Alarm Clock. You can see me using it all the time. I've been using Kerbal Engineer. I used to in the past call that a must-have mod, but now, by the way, now that I have a tier 3 tracking station, notice I get Kerbal Engineer data all the time. But less and less so now do I use Kerbal Engineer. I like these tech tree packs. Here, let's do this. I like the tech tree packs that encourage you to do uncrewed missions at the start. I find Kerbalism really works well because Kerbalism really does reward you with uncrewed science more than the stock game does. So I like those tech tree packs that promote you to do more uncrewed missions. So this one I am using probes before crew. Another great one is Unkerbal Start. I actually think I do like Unkerbal Start more than probes before crew. Get ourselves a little closer here. Another one that I've heard great things about but never tried personally is the Kiwi mod pack for modifying the text tree. I love to try that sometimes. So there you go. There's some mods that I think go really well with Kerbalism. Boop. All right, so this is a 27 meter per second burn. Who can watch it from... we'll watch it from here. 10 seconds to the burn. Put this data on. In fact, it's the rendezvous data I'm really, really interested in. Close that. And notice here, I am now getting my phase angle of negative 126.8. So we are now it is actually measuring this angle here, which is called the phase angle, now that we're on the same orbit as our target. So I'm thinking actually, can I just burn retrograde here and fix that right now? I think I can. No, I can't. Sorry, don't worry about me. What I need to do is set up another burn here. So set up another burn at periapsis. But I think now... No, the phase angle's still wrong. Okay, shoot. I wish it would give you a projected phase angle, but it just doesn't. I'm looking at this phase angle down here. Okay, so what we're going to do... I need to make this angle smaller, which means I need to speed myself up, which means I need to lower my... I'm going to do this just eyeballing. I'm sorry. Not going to be too specific here. I'm just going to try this. Just a little bit of retrograde. Just bring this down just a little bit further. Oh. No, it's not. I moved it a little bit. Just with an eye, my eyeball. Okay. That's enough of that. Okay. Let's open this up. Circ at periapsis. This is our circularization burn. And boop. Oh, I gotta run. Circ at periapsis. There we go. So this is our now circularization burn that will put us into a matching orbit. Let's do it. Let's do it. So solar panels look like they're kind of okay. Oop, SAS on. So we're going to do one more orbit around the sun, or around the moon. There we go. And what I'm looking at is this phase angle. I want it to end up being 120 degrees. Let's see where it ends up once I get to around where that burn is. A lot of eyeballing going on. It ain't that close. I overcooked it. I can tell that now. It's at 114 degrees. You know what? I don't care. I really don't. Let's run. I mean, how often am I going to come out here and actually measure that phase angle? It's 6 degrees off. I mean, seriously, if we look here, here's us right here. Here's that. Can you tell that that's 114 degrees rather than 120 degrees? I can't tell. I think it's good enough. We can actually, in fact, remove this as a target. It's unnecessary. Okay. But I'll tell you one thing that is necessary that I'll get to as soon as this burn is done. Does Kerbal Engineer show the correct phase angle? It's not that that phase angle is incorrect. It's just it's not giving you your predicted phase angle. I'm not sure. I haven't dug deep enough into Kerbal Engineer whether it's giving you a predicted phase angle or the actual phase angle. I'd have to look. Okay, so we are now done this burn. The important thing here, though, is that this period of this orbit that I'm in right now exactly matches the period of MunRelay 4, so that these two will stay in relative, their relative positions to each other will remain about the same. And I know that MunRelay 4 is in a orbit of a period of 3 hours right down to the second, and we are in an orbit of 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 58 seconds. So I want to add 2 more seconds to my period. So that means I need to burn prograde to slow myself down a little bit so that it'll take me longer to get around. I need to turn the thrust limiter down like as small as it will go, 0.5. And what I'm just going to do is burn a little bit prograde and just watch this time here. I want it to be 3 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. That's more important than the phase angle anyway. And I am burning, believe it or not. 59 seconds. There it is. 3 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. That is the important number to get right. Let's orient this for the solar panel. Here, let's turn our view to orbital view there. I don't know why I don't like it upside down. Don't want you upside down. There you go. And that is it. It is inserted. I'm going to turn my engine off. And if we put on our communication lines, there we go. Let's get rid of this. Center it on the moon. There are our communication. Oh my gosh, it is just a mess. Can I get one more? There! Look at that. That's beautiful. So you can see our equilateral triangle along this plane. And eventually I would love to have an equilateral triangle in this plane too, but that's going to require one more satellite around in this position here. Right now, it is possible to be, for instance, at the North Pole, and if both of these two satellites are down in the southern hemisphere, you'll have no communication on the surface of the North Pole. But otherwise, I do have... Oh my gosh, look at that. That's a beast of green lines. Turn that all off. Nice. I don't know why. One of the most satisfying things I find in this game is idiocy like this. Just putting satellites in these silly little orbits. I really, really, really do enjoy that. Okay. What do we got next? We're getting close to clearing away all of this detritus. Munar 3, 1 hour and 34 minutes from its encounter with the moon. Let's get out there. I built a Death Star, Klaus says. A Death Star orbiting Kerbin. Alright, speaking of orbiting Kerbin, this is Munar 3. It has been orbiting Kerbin for the better part of 32, almost 33 days. And it has aboard, let's get rid of alarm clock. It has aboard a materials study and a mystery goo from high space about the moon that I have yet to collect. And it has had an adventure. It flew by the moon. It has very little fuel left. So it's coming back into the moon. It's got a little bit of a burn to do here at periapsis of 10 meters per second. And that will give it just enough of an oomph to put its periapsis into Kerbin's atmosphere. And this thing does have a heat shield and a parachute. We should be able to recover it. So where's the moon? We're coming for you for the last time. Let's do this. This is such an old probe. If you can remember this thing actually being launched, then I'm impressed. You are a true fan. We've got the... That's our alarm for the SOI change. There we go. We're now in the Moon's SOI. We do not have much to do here. I do want to take a look at this maneuver and take a look at our periapsis. I want this oh, that's pretty good. 34.6 kilometers. That should be fine. So I think all we need to do is get down there and perform this. Now, we'll turn down the thrust here a little bit because the burn's only a couple seconds long. Okay, let's get down to the burn. So here we go. Whipping by the Moon. The Moon's doing most of the slowing down for us here. Okay, we're going to put this onto prograde, I believe it is. Yes. This is pretty, I think, all prograde. And we're going to do this burn. So the Moon is absolutely doing most of the work for us here, slowing this craft down and putting its periapsis down into Kerbin's atmosphere. I just need to give it a little bit more just to get the job done. So I'm just going to select periapsis here. This is what our current periapsis with Kerbin is, 206.5 kilometers. I just want to get that down. And no, I do not have KOS installed on this thing, so we're going to have to do this one manually. And okay. So you will got 5 seconds. I'll go to half throttle. And we'll reduce throttle at the end here. Doesn't have to be pretty. Good enough. What is that? 34 kilometers. That should be fine. So this, after some adventures, this thing is finally on its way back. I do not think we have anything else pending now finally, so I think we can just follow this on all the way. So let's actually simply select around here. And it is going around. Actually, you know what? Now I'm worried. Let's get out of the let's get away from the Moon. I think we're still going around Kerbin prograde. We have to be. Let's switch SOIs again. Get out of here. It's looking for the SOI. Have I already switched SOIs and I'm just not... I am not paying attention. Okay. Warp to here. Come on, Kerbin. We're coming for you. Move all the data into the capsule. Is it in the wrong spot? It is in the capsule. So thank you, Rob DeVos, for pointing that out to me. But I must have moved it already. But it's certainly a good thing to check to make sure that the samples are stored in this little capsule here and aren't still in the experiments themselves. But they are. You can see that it's highlighted. They are in the right place. Okay, sun's coming up. This is going to be our second re-entry, so it's pretty much the same sort of story. Yeah, we'll stage and arm those parachutes. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. There we go. And this thing does have, because it's got the probe body, does have some, but it is, and the parachute is armed. It is naturally aerodynamic, so it should stay oriented this way with our precious, precious science. It's not. Let's see. We got 36 science and 12 science. So 48 science. It's not insignificant. Here we go. Actually, we should get a boost, shouldn't we? I don't know. From that Probe Frenzy contract or strategy. Blasting through Kerbin's atmosphere. Lots of stuff coming back from the Moon. Okay. Parachute. Actually, I think I will not get rid of the heat shield, because this thing is going to be light enough as it is. Doesn't need to be lighter, and all it'll do is make it take longer to get down to the surface. I'm at 4 time warp speed, and we're just going to have to wait. All right. And you know, I was just looking at the time left of the stream, and I do want to do something else, and I was hoping to get to Minmus and do the Minmus impactor today, but I'm thinking I'm putting that off until Thursday now. Instead, I'm going to do something else, but right now we can recover this. I never get quite through. Everything always takes a little bit more time than I think it's going to take. All right. So there we go. 48 more science. We're up to 131.5 science. So we should done a great job clearing the board, as it were. We also only have 4 days, 4 hours, 58 minutes before Valentina is cleared for light duty. But let's get back into here. I have 131. Do I want to spend that on... Okay, this is RCS, and I'm not going to be doing crewed flights for a little while. These are 160 that way. Same with this. Once I get into space stations, which I think is the next phase after our current phase that we're just entering into, this will add on life support. I think I'm going to save my money. I think I'm going to save my money for... advanced aerodynamics and better plane parts, but so I'm not going to spend this 131.5. But what I want to do, speaking of planes, is I do have one simple plane mission in mind, and I think that will be a nice thing to end the stream on. And then when we come back on Thursday, probe frenzy will go on in earnest. We will be sending probes to Minmus, back to the moon, even though it's not necessary, but then to Moho, and then start getting into doing flybys of all of the inner planets. That's going to be the plan. But right now, I do have my rather plane that I'm really, really starting to get kind of sick of. That's why I'm eager to build another plane. But I do have some contracts. Do I have them? No, I don't. So... I don't have them organized in any way. To get to an airspeed of 100 meters per second and to get to 5 kilometers altitude. Flight school will have to wait for another day. Impactor probes will have to wait for another day. Just these two. So let's get ourselves a pilot. And Jebediah. Valentina is still not clear to fly. Oh, Michael A. Kerman. Michael A. Kerman's going to be our pilot. I don't think Michael A. Kerman has really had a mission since she has been rescued. So that is good. We are checking the control surfaces. The authority limiter is down, so let's launch. And this is a very simple mission. Not going to do anything too exciting. But knocking them off and working through those giving aircraft purpose contracts, they get better and better as you move along. It'll give me reason to keep flying these planes. Okay. Brakes on. Lights on. Michael looks like she's ready. View to chase. Let's open up our contracts. So, get to 100 meters per second. Must be between an altitude of 2.5 kilometers and 5 kilometers. And then get to an altitude of 5 kilometers. And then land back safely. That is the whole thing. Okay, SAS on, throttle up. That on altimeter mode. Punch it. Well, up you go. Just doesn't. Ugh. And we're off. So our first job is to get over 2,500 meters. I'm assuming that's that altimeter. And get up to 100 meters per second, considering we're already over 100 meters per second. That won't be an issue. And then get up to 5 kilometers, which also won't be an issue. That's going to be the whole thing. I'm just looking. I got a lot of messages here. Let's take a look at messages while we're doing that. So, milestones. You have performed a spacewalk in orbit of the moon. Yeah, we did do that. Satellite of the moon contract. I forgot that that was there, but just put a satellite around the moon. That was easy pickings. Get some science data from space around the moon. Did that. There's all our strategies that opened up. Place a relay satellite in orbit about the moon. Some cash and rep for that. So moving in the right direction. Oh, I think we have to level off here. There we go. It wants your vertical speed less than 10 meters per second because it doesn't want you to cheat by using gravity to get up to speed. Okay, so that's that. We just have to land. That one's done. And now we got to get up to 5 kilometers. So we'll pitch back up again. And nothing. Oh, wait. Did we already get up to 5 kilometers? Why does it say, why is that green? I'm a little bit. We didn't get that high, did we? You know what? I'm going to do it again just in case. Don't want to be accused of cheating. Okay, and there we go. There's 5 kilometers. Cut the engine. Rolling. Rolling. And bring it down. Notice, despite Michael being... Oh, Michael's a level 2 pilot. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's right. She's really a level 1 pilot, but she gets an extra level because of the pilot strategy. I'm keeping that one active because of... I want to keep doing these giving aircraft purpose contracts. Alright, all we gotta do is put this down on the runway. And of course, as I approach, I have my waypoint, the Memorial, Warrior King Memorial, to remind me not to be a goof. And not to come in sillily. And be serious. And not crash. So we're not going to do any of those things. I didn't even notice what the cost of this when I launched it. If this counts as the price of this now is doubled. I suspect it is, but considering we get almost all the cost back upon landing, it's not a big deal if the cost of this thing's doubled. Slow down a little bit. Just slowing down. A little bit of sloppy flying to slow the plane down. Okay. Alright, down we go, Michael. Beautifully done. Put on the brakes. The brakes. The brakes seem to be getting worse and worse in this game. Alright, and that, as soon as we stop, should be the end of these contracts. As soon as we stop. Tell you, one of the great things with the Weasley engine is that reverse thrust mode. That'll be something to look forward to. And green contracts. There we go. More contracts complete. So what we have done today is cleaned the slate on a lot of things. We have now a blank slate on which to begin the next phase of all of these streams, moving into probe frenzies, impactors, flybys, going interplanetary. All of that is all going to be for Thursday. So right now I'm going to thank everybody in the stream. I'm going to thank everybody who's watching this at a later date. Wish you all a great few days until we see each other again. And we'll see you on Thursday. Bye, everybody.